Hello, I'm Savannah Walters and I'll be presenting my children's hospital in Oslo, Norway today. If you look at the bottom of the screen, you'll see several images that I was using for inspiration for my concept. I want to play around with light and using color in unique ways other than just paint on a wall. I also want to include wood and water and different biophilic elements. My concept statement is that Oslo Children's Hospital incorporates materials, patterns, and variations in space which are sourced from or imitate nature. Materials are sustainably sourced or are used because of a specific design goal and are selected to evoke a sense of belonging in Oslo. The space is colorful and dynamic to appeal to children and teenagers while providing a connection to nature which alleviates stress and promotes healing. Oslo has a very unique geography. You'll see 3 images at the top of the screen. Norway is very mountainous. Over time, glaciers have carved out deep valleys and fjords which are spread across the country. The coastline is filled with many islands and there are many lakes inland. In the northern part of the country, above the Arctic Circle, the northern lights can be seen. Oslo is in the southern part of Norway. I want to include colors from Norway's landscape into my design. The landscape is also part of why I want to include water elements throughout my hospital. In the bottom left corner, you can see a chart that maps children's heights for various tasks, including counter height and eye level. My wayfinding statement is rooms designed for children's use are gathered near each other to limit the confusion of trying to locate each one. Wayfinding elements will include colors on the glass walls in the corridors when practical, as well as thematic colored lights recessed into the wall near the floor. Major decision points are the elevators and in the lobby where assistance can be found at the reception desk. Directions in the form of pictograms will be projected onto the floor so even children can navigate without having to read. Murals or images of nature inside rooms will make each room distinct. Here I've gone ahead and noted important characteristics from my research of environmental design theories. Biophilic design focuses on connecting humans to nature. It can also have lighting scheduled to match a person's circadian rhythm. Restorative design also connects humans to nature. The restorative design also incorporates a sense of responsibility that humans have to the environment. Regenerative design pushes the boundaries and is a more all-inclusive system. Its goal is to improve the environment and not just minimize human impact. Regenerative buildings will often have closed-loop systems, as well as net zero energy and water use. Many times they will actually create a surplus of energy. Regenerative design often takes inspiration from nature. This is called biomimicry. Here you can see my adjacency matrix, bubble diagram, blocking diagram, and a stacking diagram. My adjacency matrix led me to group rooms for children into one zone, rooms for adults into another, and rooms for medical staff in a third zone. These 3 zones also matched the acoustic levels. The theater and playground have a dynamic amount of noise. Sometimes children may be shouting or there may be an action sequence with lots of noise playing in the theater. The second zone, which will have a moderate amount of noise, is mainly for adults and teenagers. This zone includes the lobby entrance, the lounge, the dining area, gift shop, gym, and teen center. The medical staff will have offices which will isolate sound, giving them privacy. The chapel and art gallery, which will likely be quiet, are also in the quiet zone. Here you can see some of my rough ideas I've sketched on top of my blocking diagram. You should be able to see that I've expanded the reflection pool. I chose to do this because water is such a critical part of my design concept. In the bottom left corner in the lobby, I have added tubes that will extend to the ceiling, which will be filled with colored bubbles. This will serve as a great distraction for children and will build excitement as they enter the hospital. I've tried to include a generous amount of space in each of my rooms. The art gallery, which is one of the pink rooms on the right side, will have curved walls which mimic forms in nature better than straight lines. The chapel right below it has seating which faces windows, allowing occupants to better connect with nature and the outdoors. I have an abundant amount of seating spread throughout the entire hospital. Here is a more detailed version of my floor plan. I'll explain this plan in a counterclockwise direction starting in the top left corner at the theaters. In the theaters, I have allowed space between the front row of seating and the wall where the screen will be. This prevents people from sitting so close to the screen that they can't properly see what's going on. You will see several water features throughout the main corridors of the hospital. These tie in directly with my concept. The business center I've created has seating and workstations for 12 people. Each of the stations is an enclosed room, which will prevent most of the noise from carrying, giving the user some much-needed privacy. The lounge area is not an enclosed room, but rather free-floating seating arranged around a reflection pool. The reflection pool allows listeners to lower their stress by listening to the water. Water is also proven to lower blood pressure. In the lobby, you can see the bubble tubes that I mentioned on my previous plan. My dining area has multiple sizes of tables and heights which will accommodate large groups as well as accommodate users with different needs. My gift shop has a checkout counter and feature wall which will have glowing lights which will color the water that flows down the wall. This will serve as an excellent distraction for the children. Skipping over some rooms I've already mentioned, you'll see that I have several offices for counseling offices and the administrative suite on the rightmost side of the building. These are grouped together because they require walls to get some privacy. I also wanted them all to have easy access to conference rooms and extra seating areas which will provide opportunities for team meetings and collaborative work. I have a lecture hall as well as 2 smaller rooms for group instruction which can be used to teach staff as well as discuss treatment options. The teen center is filled with TVs and computers as well as other electronics such as Xboxes and PlayStations. There are also tables for them to use if they would rather work on homework outside of the classroom. My hospital also offers a gym with laundry facilities for family visitors. I have several dining options which range from sitting at the counter to grab-and-go foods. My reception desk is surrounded with serpentine seating arrangements. The desk itself is a semicircle, and behind it is a semicircle wall, which protects confidential information which may appear on the receptionist's computer screens. The Imagination Room has 4 walls with programmable screens, which allow children to explore and learn. My playground uses wood as the primary material. The classroom at the top of the plan has space for 8 children. There are desks at multiple heights, and against the right wall is storage for their craft supplies. Here are 2 elevation sketches. The top is from the Imagination Room, and the bottom is from the gift shop. At the top you can see the LED panels, which are arranged to form a giant screen. These LED panels are on all 4 walls to make the room feel truly expansive. The LED panels are programmable to many configurations. This one shows heat signatures. In the elevation of the gift shop checkout counter, you can see the wood paneling with glass panels in the center. Behind each of these panels is a different set of neon lights which color the water as it trickles down. On this board you can see the reception desk, which is wood paneled with a middle section of water falling behind the glass. Unlike the gift shop counter, there is no colored lighting. The water will flow from the front of the desk to under glass panels on the floor before disappearing under the floor so it can be cycled through again. On the left you can see the desk's curvature in a perspective, and on the right is the detail and elevation view. On the bottom of the board is the detail of the reflection pool, which has measurements noted on the left. In the center is a column. Around the pool is a seating ledge. I've used water elements to connect the hospital to the landscape of Norway. Here's a perspective of the Imagination Room with a different program in use than the previous elevation drawing. This one shows an aquarium. I've added seating for adults or children who may not want to stand. This allows them to observe what is happening in the room so they are not excluded from the fun. Here is a perspective of the gallery. Children have the ability to display their artwork here. One of the best aspects of the gallery is that colored lights from overhead are programmed to change slowly over time. The colored lights will affect the appearance of the art on display.